Yeah, lizard, lizard, lizard. What's up, Chuckles? How we doing? Quadratic? What's up, dude? Another productive day. I just did a shit ton of landscaping. You guys want to see how good it looks? Check this out. So today, mowed the lawn and took care of all the leaves. You can be very proud, Chuckles. Check this out. This was blanketed with leaves from this tree. Look how good it looks. We even pulled out the RV, got everything under there. Look at that. Such a good feeling. I got a great workout. And I came over here and, yeah, check this out. Look how good that lawn looks. Look at that. Beautiful. Can't wait to own my own property someday. Just so I can mow the lawn. I'm telling you, it's such a good workout. You're in class right now, Chuckles. Oh, hell yeah. What are you guys learning today? Bangs? Dyeing hair? What are you doing? I made a new StreamYards account and it's all whack and vertical. Does it look okay? How does it look? What's up? Cult Father failed to stream. What do you mean? Why is it failed? Good show with Parlo last night. Thank you. Yeah, that was a good show. Good segment. I don't like that angle. Let's bring it down a little bit. That's better. Yeah, so I went on Parlo's late night show. Woke up at like 2:30 in the morning. Saw that Parlo was live. Showed up in his chat. He asked me to come up. So yeah, we spent a good half hour talking. Mainly about King TL. Parlo had a lot of questions about King TL. And yeah. So we did that, and then we talked about e-girls. And Parlo had some very interesting things to say about certain e-girls that I've already forgotten about, but guess he's keeping tabs. Anyways, Parlo, if you want to come up tonight, like I said before, you are welcome on panel. I'd love to interview you, buddy. And I won't try to get you. I won't try to like out you as some whatever. So we'll be nice, I promise. Waiting to clock out. Okay, cool. Well, I'll keep you company. Stream on the app, the YouTube app. Well, I can't do panels if we do the app, right? So, StreamYards, we're doing a panel tonight. I got my ring light on, so yeah, I'm wearing my glasses. Look at my skin. It's all sunburned. I got some sun today. I'm telling you, I spent like 2 hours making this property perfect. I'm trying to get that RV from my tour. See that RV right there? I want to get that for my tour. My parents aren't using it anytime soon. If I can get that for my southern tour, golden. Anyways, that's kind of the goal. Jeremy is like school in summertime. I don't really understand that, but get you. Gamer of the Damned. I want you to talk to D-Dog. And that's what chat wants to see too. So, D-Dog, are you done streaming? Is D-Dog done streaming? Did he quit streaming? I heard something about he actually broke up with Ruby, which we all know is bullshit. But if we can get D-Dog and Paro, or D-Dog and Gamer, or maybe Gamer and Paro, it doesn't have to be Radio Wars, guys. They don't have to go at each other. It's more just about the character contrast and two people that are wildly different talking to each other. And that's why I want to set up here. So let's go. Did you send Paro those pictures? Haha, he was excited about that. No, I didn't. Nah. I'm not that guy that's going to send out those kinds of pics. I thought about it. I was just like, yeah, no, let's not do that. It's probably not Ava. And you know, Paro's still kind of innocent, so I don't want to corrupt him with those scat porn pics. I don't want to be responsible, you know, for waking something up in him that ruins his life. Yeah, the this new StreamYard thing, the vertical, it's weird. Super long. Why is that? Can I change that? Let's see. No? Okay. I don't think I can. Teleprompter. Interesting. They added a new feature, the teleprompter feature. Huh. Interesting. StreamYard is upping their game. Fly south for the winter, little starling. Okay. Starling, really? I think of myself as more of a Philippine monkey-eating eagle. Maybe a peregrine falcon. Certainly not a starling. Come on, dude. That's just offensive. You clocking out, Chuckles? All right, cool. You don't understand the link must always be pinned after a half-hour monologue or the channel has no life. Ah, come on. I do what I want to do, Mac, buddy. He's done with YouTube because of he can't handle you or Mr. Deadman, and he was trying to make Ruby quit YouTube too, just because he can't handle you or Mr. Deadman. Yep. Well, you come at the king, you best not miss, right? I'm not referring to King Tio. Half hour max mono, then panel. Nah, dude. I can monologue for a full hour. I got this, dude. Don't worry about it. I got this. You are too predictable. What are you talking about, back, buddy? And use the right too. You're supposed to add another O onto that one. What drugs do we think King Tail is on tonight? He's probably just gonna do his regular, you know, that regular cocktail. And we'll bring King Tail up tonight. We'll see if he can keep us cool. Although we are getting a lot of people unsubscribing, so we might have to chill on the banning. Unless you guys pay me. I'll still ban people if you pay me, but mods, let's take it easy on chat rats. Not that I care about numbers too much, but it's noticeable now. People are getting mad about the bannings. It's really triggering the chat rats, and I like my chat rats. They give me content. I know, just trying to help. I know. But you're also telling me that I'm bad at my job, so remember that. He was blowing his fuse last night. Who, D-Dog or King? Anyways, we'll post up the link eventually. I really don't have much to talk about. Today was pretty basic. I didn't want to stream me like mowing the lawn or raking because that's not really renovation. It's not really innovation, right? It's not really innovative. I did it more just for the workout and to get some sun, which I did. So mission accomplished. Just took a shower, ate a big dinner. 3 eggs for dinner with a bunch of rice. How many eggs is that today? How many eggs did I have this morning? I already lost count. Anyways, picked up 3 dozen eggs at Walmart. I'm set for at least, through the weekend. And yeah, Mac Buddy, I did my monologue this morning. We did an undead monologue. I thought it was pretty good. I haven't really listened to it over again, but very thought provoking. We ended on a note of free agency, which is always a good place to end. And yeah, the scenery this morning. Do you guys see that sunrise? That was impressive. That was something else. We'll do the same thing tomorrow morning too. And tomorrow, dude, it's supposed to be over 70 degrees here. 70 degrees. So, yeah. We're getting outside. I think we're gonna go do another skateboarding stream. All right, like I said, I'm in one of my other StreamYard accounts. Let's see what the avatar is for this one. Okay, it's just me. Not bad. Not bad. I don't know how I feel about this vertical thing, though. Does it look like a vertical stream on YouTube? Is it taking up the entire screen on your guys' phones? And is chat being overlaid on the video? Are they trying to compete with YouTube? Huh. When does the house repair content begin? Hopefully tomorrow. The Solarium materials got delayed because we're doing this like special carbon fiber thing, and they didn't have them in stock. So my old man went there. They didn't have any. He had to order it, and yeah, hopefully tomorrow. I mean, I can make, there's other stuff I can do, but I really want the next stream to be paneling that solarium. Like I said, today I just did a bunch of landscaping, leaf control, mowed the lawn. Looks really good. But yeah, no, you guys don't want to see that. We've already done a lawn mowing stream, and I did make really good money on that stream. But yeah, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, the year's almost over. Thanksgiving's coming up. I hope to spend Thanksgiving in Memphis. Unless I leave early. If I get the okay with the RV and I get my lump sum of cash, then I might leave early. I really am itching to get back on the road. It's super nice and peaceful here, but dude, I want to get back on the road. I want to go to some of these big cities. I want to go to St. Louis. See how dangerous it really is. And then down to New Orleans, where somebody mentioned All Saints Cathedral. Is that right? Yeah, we're going to hit up a cathedral for sure. All the big cities that have cathedrals, that'll probably be our first stop. What'd you guys think of that Episcopal church that I went to earlier today? Red doors, right? Red doors. It's all about red doors. I should paint my Honda Accord's door red. Just the driver's side. That'd be interesting. Anyways, you back, Chuckles? Cool. How was school today? What'd you learn? What did you learn? You learn how to make people more beautiful? Chuckles, from what you learned, what would you do with my hair and face and everything? How can you make me more beautiful? You're going to beauty school. It's for men and women, right? You don't just learn about women's beauty, do you? You also learn about men too, right? Chuckles, how can you make me more beautiful? I'm not dyeing my hair, so don't say that. I'm not bleaching my hair. I like my hair. I got a perfect hairline with my scar. I like it. Don't touch my hair. I'm not some minority trying to be white. Had to cut a man's hair. He was homeless. Oh, so he probably needed it, huh? Frosted tips, right? Yeah, we're not doing any of that. So you cut a homeless man's hair. Interesting. You got any bits out of it? You got any jokes that you got out of it? What did he smell like? Was he high on drugs? Did he try to come on to you? Do I need to kick his ass? He smelled bad. Interesting. What kind of haircut did you give him? Did you get him all nice and ready to go get a job? Did you tell him to get a job afterwards? Anyways, what are you doing cutting a homeless man's hair? Did he volunteer or do you guys just pull him off the street? How does that happen? And what did he smell like? Poop? Most homeless people smell like poop. You guys hear that, dude? Some kid screaming. I just gave him a haircut, but I'd never done a dude's hair. I was never taught. Well, if it's a homeless guy, you don't really have to worry about it. I would just troll the guy and give him like a mohawk or something, or just make him look even more homeless. Make it super choppy and uneven. Well, let me ask you this: did you get graded on the haircut? Did your teacher like grade you? Just a buzz cut is all I asked for. I used to do the buzz cut, but no, I've been told I got nice thick hair, so I gotta, you know, use it to my advantage. Hello from France. Hey, je ne sais pas. Je ne parle pas français. How's my French? That's all I know. That's all the French I know. I learned a little more French, but I forgot the rest of it. I'd like to learn French. Of all the languages, French would probably be the first one. My old man is learning Finnish right now. And he's using this app. I can't remember what it's called, but it teaches you Finnish. Maybe I need to learn a new language and then go to that country. I'd love to go to France. Any of you guys been to France before, aside from the guy who is from France? I'd love to go there. He paid $7 for it. Well, then he's not homeless. If he can afford a haircut, if he pays for a haircut, he's not homeless, right? Maybe half homeless. Smelled like body odor. Hmm. It's not very specific. People have different kinds of body odor. What did his body odor smell like? Windex? You ever smell someone that smells like Windex? Or cleaning chemicals? French isn't a language. I know. It's been a long day, Chuckles. And I inhaled a lot of dust mowing over like a bunch of leaves, so I'm kind of gunked up right now. Have you ever been to France, Chuckles? Do you know any French? That right, French, Chuckles. Yeah, that's right. The meth, not body odor. That's meth, not body odor. Oh, okay. I thought the meth smelled like cat piss. Hmm. I need to watch Breaking Bad again. What's up, Louisiana repair guy? How we doing? Yeah, I don't know either, Chuckles. Stupid conversation. So, do we got any chat rats out there that want to come up on panel and redeem themselves? D-Dog quit YouTube, which means he'll be back in about 3 days. Hurricane Paro, love to have you up, man. Thanks for having me up on your show last night. Do appreciate that. And anybody else that's got a problem with me, let's hash it out. Let's go. Chuckles attacked my family. I'm the only one aware of it because I'm schizophrenic. Yeah, I heard you. I think you told me you were schizophrenic at one point. Hey, Rally, you want to come up and talk about that? I think there are a lot of other people around here that might be schizophrenic and, somebody that's actually been diagnosed. Maybe they could learn a thing or two. God damn, dude. My brain is turning off. I should have taken a nap today. Whatever. Rally, you want to come up? No. We're not going to talk about Chuckles. We're going to talk about your schizophrenic diagnosis and how it came about. From what I remember you telling me, you started talking to God when you were a kid, and you said that God talked back to you. So your parents sent you to a psychiatrist? Or no, your parents like sent you to a religious leader and they sent you to a psychiatrist? What exactly happened? Come up on panel and tell me. I'm genuinely interested. A lot of people are saying that Dalmatian dog is schizophrenic, so maybe there's some parallels there. And you're a streamer, right? So might as well come up. Anyways, everybody else, welcome to the program. I can see we got a bunch of lurkers here. If you're banned, just make an alt account, come in, let me know, and I'll unban. I'll unban everyone tonight. I think I'm just going to do that thing where I just unban everybody at the end of the show. But the whole banning thing is kind of fun. And I'm making a lot of money doing it, so I'd be stupid not to continue the bit. Just make sure all my mods let me do the banning from now on. Unless I tell you to ban someone directly, let me do the banning and the timing out and all that stuff. At least for now. Coming. Let me get out of my office. All right, sounds good. You got an office? You're schizophrenic and you have your own office, dude. D-Dog, see that? You can still have a career for yourself and be schizophrenic. It's not over, dude. It's not over yet. All right, let me get rid of this ring light. That stuff is too bright. Yeah, that's better. I don't ban, I just time people out. Cool, cool. But yeah, no, let me do that stuff today. You just sit back and enjoy the show, Chuckles. We got Rally coming up. That's your name, right? Rally. What else we got going on? So yeah, like I said, tomorrow it's supposed to be super warm. I think we're going to go to the skate park again. Or I might try to find a new skate park. But from what I gathered, that's the only skate park within like an hour's drive. And that is a really good half pipe. So we're going to try some new tricks. We're going to get a little dangerous with it. Imagine silencing someone for literally any reason. No, money. Money is the reason. Distinction is pretty cut and dry. Money. No, you're not timed out. The link doesn't work. Post it again. What do you mean it doesn't work? It's going to be the same link that I post. StreamYards has been kind of fucked up lately, and they're trying a bunch of new stuff out. As you can tell, I think this whole vertical thing is new too, so yeah, it might just be on StreamYards. It might be StreamYard's fault is what I'm trying to say. You getting some rain there? Well, I'm sorry, that sucks. You smashed your phone. Why? Because I timed you out? Well, I didn't time you out. I'm sure Chuckles did that, obviously. You got a bit of an anti-Semitic thing going. Silencing based on feelings. No, it's money. It's all money. I get paid. I get paid to mute some of you guys, so. And we're still playing that game. If you guys want to see anybody muted or banned, just donate some money. Distinction's here with his little D account. I got no problem muting him. Links don't work for vertical StreamYards. No way. Is that just a bug? Is that something that they got to figure out? Because they better not be paywalling the StreamYard link deal. If they paywall that feature, they're going to lose so many users. It's the only reason why people use StreamYards is for the panels. If they, yeah, dude, if they paywall that, that's a bad idea. But they're probably greedy and they'll probably do just that. Yeah, where's Paro at? Come on, Paro. Is the link really not working? Can I change this to Huh. Let's go to settings. Let's see if I can change it. Oh yeah, let's do dark mode for sure. Hmm. How do you know that it's not allowed on vertical? Have you already tried or what? All right, orientation. We're gonna try landscape. If it lets me. It's not gonna let me change. No, come on. Well, no, it says we got somebody backstage. Kenton Jones. Did I just dox your name? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, it'll show your name. So yeah, you're not doxed.
Like
All right.
Raleigh's kind of a hard name for most people to say.
What's that?
It's not like Kent's not known. Kent's well known. So
Okay. Anyways, thanks for coming up on the show. I appreciate it. And it looks like the StreamYard link does work.
yeah, I don't know what happened the first time. The second time worked just fine.
Okay, good. All right, so we're going to talk about your diagnosis, if that's all right. You say you are diagnosed schizophrenic, right?
Right. So I grew up in a pretty stressful household, super religious. Dad was a deacon, and he ran one of the cameras at church. Grew up Southern Baptist. Mother was a Sunday school teacher and at home mother, kind of thing. And around 9 years old, I started seeing like angels and demons and stuff like that. And they thought I was gifted. So they rushed me to the pastor, right? And they're like, no, he's just crazy. You need to go get him checked out. And and so they took me to the first psychologist and they gave me all these tests. They give you IQ tests, they make you work all these little puzzles, say your alphabets forwards and backwards, whatever. And then they kind of give you your diagnosis, which they diagnosed me ADD, dyslexia with dysgraphia, and schizophrenic. Um, and they didn't believe it, so they took me for a second opinion, which basically said the same thing the first opinion did.
Hmm. And so describe these hallucinations, as I'm guessing they called them hallucinations. You said you were seeing angels and demons. Can you describe that for me?
Yeah, so the majority of it is audio. It's not visual for me, at
Okay.
least. It's
So
different for
you were
everybody.
so you were hearing angels and demons.
Well, not at that time. I was super stressed at that time, so I was actually having visuals. But for the majority of the time, it's more like you feel like you hear things that you have a strong feeling about.
Hmm.
Like,
So there's emotions behind it. A
yeah,
lot
it's
of
very
emotion.
emotional, very emotional.
Okay.
Um, but back then, yeah, I was like, how you when you first wake up and you think you're dreaming and you're not. That's how it kind of was. And then I would hear things, but it was my own mind playing tricks on me. And then that would stress me out even worse. And so the more stressed out you finally get to a point where you get catatonic, which is like the far extreme. Like there's manic and then there's catatonic. So
Right.
manic would be hearing things like you're starting to have symptoms. But when you're full blown in psychosis, it's called catatonic, and that's when you're in it and you don't realize you're in it and everyone else is wondering why you're what you're doing. um
I've heard the
uh,
term catatonic schizophrenic, so I'm guessing that's what it means. It's when you're having an episode, like a full-on schizophrenic episode.
right, you're done, checked out, you're done,
Yeah. Yeah.
you need to be on meds.
Hmm. So you
um
would agree with the diagnosis then?
yeah, now for sure, I'm 46. Yeah, I think it's fairly true. I've had a lot of therapy. There's lots of things you can do to de-stress. You can get off a lot of the medication. There's really not a medication for schizophrenic. It's not like bipolar. There's not a way to fix it. There's not a way to get you chemically correct in your mind. Unfortunately, you have to learn to live with it as much as you do treating some of the symptoms with medicine.
Okay. So you're on some medications. Do you mind sharing with us what kind of medications you take?
I'm not on any meds. I'm very high functioning. I've been able to get off all my meds since about 32.
Can you tell us what meds you were on?
I I mean, I don't know how to say the name. You know how to say the name of the meds in your cabinet? They
Well,
got big
I don't
long
take any.
names.
Yeah, I don't. But like, what would it be like antipsychotics or like what would be the
Yeah,
group?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
They would be like, it would be like I've been on Adderall. I for the ADHD and help me try to focus. I've been on stuff that treats mood, a lot of mood stabilizers. I don't know exactly the names of them anymore. It's been so long, and stuff like that. Antipsychotics. There was this one, man. I hated that fucker too. There was one that would help with nausea, but because some of the medicines made you nauseated, but
Hmm.
then it would also cause um like it made you feel like you ever took DMT?
I haven't. No.
Okay, DMT makes you feel like gives you this weird feeling. It would give you that feeling. That's the only thing I can compare it to.
Hmm.
It gives you that
So like
weird,
out of
when you
body, like I know from like Joe Rogan, obviously you get this out of body experience. You dissociate. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
if you smoke a ton of it, if you get really fucking blasted on it, yes, you can have an out of body experience. But let's say you just had a little bit of DMT, you just took a couple hits, you start feeling this pressure, and you start feeling like everything is kind of vibrating and pulsing. That's what it kind of feels like.
Interesting. And you didn't like that medication, you
Oh no,
said.
how to get off that? Oh, there were some bad ones, dude. And a lot of them cause like erectile dysfunction. They don't. You won't want to like do anything, and so you want to get off these meds. You don't want to stay on these meds. These meds have terrible side effects. Terrible ulcers. Since I was able to get off them, I don't have like stomach ulcers anymore or anything like
Hmm.
that. So
Wow,
that
some cultures.
just terrible.
So let's get back to like your initial diagnosis. How old were you? You said you were a child.
9. I was 9. It's very
nine
young.
years
It's
old.
actually
And
rare. It's
I
rare
was
to
gonna
be diagnosed
say,
as a child.
yeah, most schizophrenia is diagnosed after like it's like 19 to 25, right?
Puberty, yeah, puberty on, I
Like
would
the
say.
really stressful and that like college stresses people out and then they get their diagnosis. I've heard a lot about that.
Well, most people have a nice, relaxed childhood, right? So it doesn't really come on. And when they start getting to the real world and they start having that stress, then that's what brings it on, right? That's when they start manifesting. They did manifest. Let me take that back. They did manifest in their prior years. They just weren't caught, and they made us say, "Hey, he's probably just a little emotional, or she's just a little emotional." They played it off, and they never really had a full on catatonic. And by the time they get to college, where they get really stressed, then they have a manic to catatonic episode, and then they're like, "Oh no, that one needs to be a meds."
All right, let me just say real quick. I see you backstage, David Boldo, I think it is, but I'm just gonna have a one-on-one with Rally for now. I'll bring you up in a little bit, so hold tight. So yeah, so it's very rare to diagnose children with schizophrenia. Um, and you said you were really stressed out, and when I see people that get kind of psychotic, usually from drugs or something, it's from sleep deprivation. Was that a part of it at all? Did you find that you just weren't sleeping enough and your body was trying to get REM while you were awake, or?
I think it was more of the dynamic between my mother and father. Dad worked all the time. Mother was super stressed out. She didn't handle raising 3 kids very well. She also had her own issues with depression and narcissism, and so that didn't mix well with me.
Would you say she was a bit of a control freak?
Very much so. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was her narcissism, nar-
Right.
narcissistic behavior coming out in her. And the reason why I think she did that because later, like now, I still have a good relationship with him. Um, I think because she didn't feel like she can control her environment, so she tried to over control her environment when she was young. She made some bad mistakes, and she realizes that.
Yeah. So, so you're
But
9
she
years
didn't make
old.
me schizophrenic. I was born schizophrenic.
So that's
Y-
that's what I was going to ask next. Do you think if you had a childhood that was quote unquote normal, chill, not stressful, do you think you would have still gotten the diagnosis?
Yes, 100%. It is hereditary for 100%. I don't know who else in the family might have had it. I had an aunt that was a pathological liar. She just would just lie to lie, and she would make these stories up. And I don't really know what that is. I think that's like histrionics, maybe, or something like that. So there's
I've heard
some
that
mental
term. Yeah, histrionic
illness
disorder. I've heard that. Yeah.
in the family with different little things I've seen, but I've never known or heard of anybody being schizophrenic in either my dad or my mom's family. So I've always been kind of curious about that.
Do you think it's the
Uh,
result of being religious and maybe interpreting some of those symptoms as signs from God?
Here's what I know. You can take a 2 year old child at 2 years old, and you can do a CAT scan of their brain, and you can say that this child, the way their brain is formed with their frontal lobes,
Hmm,
may be schizophrenic. But not everybody
interesting.
that has the frontal lobes formed the way schizophrenics do will be schizophrenic. But 100% of people who are schizophrenic have that frontal lobe deformation.
Interesting. So there's a physiological aspect to it. It's not all
100%.
psychological. Okay. And you say that you were born that way. Do you know any other schizophrenics yourself?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Chris that comes over here, he's schizophrenic. Yeah, he's my,
okay,
my best friend. And I didn't seek him out. I didn't find him in any group. I just met him on a job I was doing, actually. And he started coming over here, hanging out, drinking beer, and streaming with me. And we just became really good friends.
interesting. All right, well then, yeah, we're talking about beer. How does substances affect the disorder, the diagnosis?
I think
When
it
you
causes
use
you
like,
to abuse them because what the problem with schizophrenia is you have irregular dopamine releases in your brain. Like some parts of the brain release not enough and some release too much, and that's a problem I have, and a lot of schizophrenics have it, but not every schizophrenic has that problem. So when you take alcohol or illegal drugs or other drugs, it floods your brain with dopamine and makes you feel leveled out. And so schizophrenics have a higher substance abuse issue to such a point that people with schizophrenia live 20 years less than most people. Their lifespan is decreased by 20 years if you're diagnosed
interesting.
with schizophrenia.
So Monty in chat says, does our guest know how to play an instrument? Learning how to read music and play an instrument has been shown to promote frontal lobe development for kids. Do you play any instruments?
Yeah, not anymore. I grew up playing keyboard and trombone. I played it all
Did,
the way up to ninth grade.
would you say that helped with certain symptoms, or?
I think it was just enjoyable, something I really looked forward to, and I think that's good for anybody. And music, I still have a love for music to this day.
Hmm.
I've produced a few rap songs that I have out there on the internet.
All right, and you can drop a link anytime if you want. I don't think I got you a wrench, but if you want to plug any stuff, you're welcome to.
Well,
Here's
thank
another
you.
question: being schizophrenic, can you spot another schizophrenic without talking to him? Can you kind of like see somebody in public and say, okay, that person's probably schizophrenic, or
I can tell that somebody's having a manic episode, but I don't know if they're bipolar or schizophrenic or
is it hard to tell
histrionic.
between the two?
I could
Because the
tell there's
bipolar
something
has
going on.
the bipolar has the mania, but does bipolar not include catatonia, catatonic symptoms? Catatonic, sorry.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I just don't know.
And with I guess medications nowadays, it'd probably be hard to tell. Anybody around here that you think might be schizophrenic that doesn't know it yet? Because we do have some people that get very manic. Do you think that, and I guess don't name names, but would you say, are there certain people that you watch that you say that person is probably schizophrenic?
Oh, there's a bunch of people schizophrenic. Odeon schizophrenic. Um, let's see. Tyrese Sneed's schizophrenic. There's quite a few. I'd have to think back, but there's a large. I'm going to tell you something about people on YouTube. People on YouTube are either on welfare or they're crazy.
Hmm. I wonder which one. I'm not on welfare, but I might be crazy. I could definitely
I
be
mean,
bipolar or something.
look at you, Jeremy. You come out here every day and you stream, and you absolutely don't get any numbers. I mean, I get 10 times the amount of views you do, and I don't even have to post a single video. I mean, me, I would think you're probably low IQ because if you came out here and did this every day and you streamed, you can't get any views and you can't get any, and you're still not making any money out here on YouTube, hardly. Then why would you come and do the same thing without changing it up? To me, I see a lot of people that do this. Sam Hill does it. To me, that's low IQ behavior. Why would you keep doing the same thing over and over again? Either you're lonely, you're retarded, or you're mentally ill. That's the only thing I can think of.
I'm not going to argue with that. I do it because I do enjoy it. I've had phases where I get good numbers, but I'm more using this as a way to get somewhere better, not
How
by
old are
being
you,
retarded.
Jeremy?
I'm 35.
At 35, my kids were still like 10 or something, and I was raising them. And a man with no family, do you have a purpose? What is your purpose, Jeremy, if you have no family?
What is my purpose? That's a good idea.
You can't make
That's
it
a good
YouTube. That's
question.
sad.
Yeah, I don't think YouTube is my purpose. Honestly, I wanted to get into comedy. I thought YouTube would be a good way to get into comedy and to kind of fine tune my skills, um, and to work out jokes and stuff like that.
I think if you created a channel and you did like a 2 minute stand up shorts,
Mhm.
told a joke, something funny, and maybe you had some longer episodes as well, like some 10 minute ones, you
I
would be really
considered doing
popular.
that. Yeah, no, I've
You'd
been,
be really popular.
I've considered that, but my plan was more to go on stage, and then that would be kind of where I would start my comedy career.
Okay.
And I've tried to get in with like the Seattle crowd, but I just felt like the Seattle crowd wasn't the right place for me to do comedy. So YouTube was a way to kind of test out my skill set, see if people actually think I'm funny. I've never really played into the algorithm, do like the clickbait titles or do the thumbnails or anything like that. It's more about just working chat, being funny on the spot, and then getting to a point where I feel comfortable, funny enough to actually hit the stage.
And I always want people to remember this about schizophrenics. There's people with schizophrenia that are all levels, just like autism. There's smart schizophrenics and there's retarded schizophrenics. There's people that have high functioning, like me, that really don't need medication, that can just do some behavioral management. Because that's really what it is it's controlling your emotions. And there's other people who just can't control themselves at all, like Tyree Sneed, that thinks he's Batman and he's homeless and he's wandering around town. You
Let's
know.
talk about those kinds of delusions. So, schizophrenics, alternate realities, new realities. What kind of fantasies or delusions have you been,
Well, I'll
subjected
tell you
to?
how it happens. I'm not going to go on any delusion or thing I had at any time. But I will say I don't have any long ongoing delusions.
Mhm.
But there's been situations where I've lost, because I'm a contractor. I've lost jobs, and the way I lost jobs was well, something happened, and I thought to myself, well, did they do that because, I mean, on purpose, or then it, I start really thinking about it. I start getting paranoid because paranoid schizophrenia, that it goes hand in hand. Then
Right, right.
something else happens, and I start linking them together. And over a month's time, I have built this whole delusion around this person or this thing or this action that really isn't there or doesn't have merit. But now I have given it merit in my mind.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Everybody
when you
does
say that
that, but
chuckles,
schizophrenics do it to a whole different level.
so when you say that chuckles came after you, do you think that might have been a paranoid delusion?
No, I'm just fucking with her because she kicked me out of her Discord for showing a transgender picture.
Okay, so this is the question that everyone's begging to ask. Do you know who D Dog is?
No, I don't know who D Dog is. I've heard of him, but I don't know who he is.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that D Dog is schizophrenic. He kind of flies off the handle out of nowhere. He seems to be very emotional. He's very paranoid. He thinks the government is out to get him. Does that sound like something that might be schizophrenia, or could that just be? I mean, can you have paranoia without the schizophrenia?
Well, I'm going to tell you this much. If somebody associates as a targeted individual, that is one of the tests uh, for schizophrenia.
Right.
Believe that or not. Believe it or not, one of the checkoffs things is, do you believe you're targeted? And you say, yes, yes, I am a target. People target me for no reason. That's like a checkoff box for schizophrenia.
D Dog, we got some questions for you. Reckoner says that D Dog is not schizophrenic. He's schizotypal personality. Do you know what that is?
Well, they're schizoaffective, and I don't understand the difference because I haven't really researched the differences, but there is some differences. I'm just plain Jane, old school schizophrenic. I don't
Okay.
have some of this new fancy diagnosis, but I also haven't seen a psychologist since about 32, 33.
Okay. Do you feel like you don't need one, or do you just get kind of sick of them and you don't want to do
Well,
that anymore?
I can't be healed, so because there's no way to heal it. It's because it's just who I am. So
Right.
therefore, there's a certain point of where either you're going to be able to cope with it or not cope with it. So where are you at? After so many years of going to therapy.
All right. So chat brings up a good topic. People that smoke too much weed, are they functionally schizophrenic or are they treating their schizophrenia?
I think they're medically, like they
Medically?
caused a medical psychosis, and that's possible, you know. But I also smoke weed every day, every night before I go to, because it helps my mind settle down, so I don't have to take like Ativan. When I started smoking weed at night, I didn't have to take Ativan anymore.
Hmm. So you would say it in some way treats your schizophrenia.
I will say it just slows my mind down so I can go to sleep and turns everything off. Because you remember I'm ADD as well, so I think that's more of an ADD problem than it is a schizophrenia problem.
Interesting. So I've smoked weed for probably most of my 20s and most of my 30s. I just quit smoking weed about 3 weeks ago.
Right?
So what can I expect now, essentially? So I don't feel any like paranoia. I don't feel like I'm delusional, but then again, if you're delusional, you probably don't think you're
Did you
delusional.
smoke it all day, or did you just smoke it at night to go to bed?
I like smoking all day for the most part.
Well,
I
I
kind of
don't know how
enjoy.
it would affect you. I have gotten off of it, like marijuana, for long periods of time, and for the first month or two, I have a hard time sleeping because I use it as a sleep aid.
Right, right.
I don't smoke weed all day. I go to work, man. I got a job, you know. I work for myself.
Yeah, well, a lot of people can smoke weed and still function at work. I mean, I was able
Oh
to do that
no,
myself.
I wouldn't
Um,
do that.
yeah, no, I did, and I did pretty well. So no, so like I said, I'll give you my experience. I just quit smoking weed and drinking 3 weeks ago. I feel a lot better. Obviously, I'm back on my schedule. Still, craving a little bit, but for the most part, just smoking cigarettes and things like that. And while I was smoking weed and drinking, I got to the point where I would get sleep deprived from the alcohol, and I never got like super paranoid, but whenever I would get sleep deprived, I would kind of notice that it's harder to regulate my emotions. And that's why I brought it up earlier. You said you had a very stressful childhood. How much of like so when you see somebody who says, like you'll say they take meth and they stay up for 3, 4 days and then they're in psychosis because their body's trying to get REM. How is that different from genuine like schizophrenia? Or would you say it's pretty similar?
Well, I think one's from sleep and medically induced from meth, right? And the other one is most likely from a dopamine imbalance, and their ability to not understand that they're processing information incorrectly. Like they're taking things out of context when they shouldn't, or they're adding context to situations when they shouldn't. Like, for example, one of the things I do is I will say to myself, how is everybody else reacting to this? And if you're the only one reacting poorly to this, then it may be something, with you. I try to look at the surroundings and look how everyone else is acting.
Hmm.
um, and that's one of the tests I do to, because a lot of times people might not even realize that I may be in a social situation, and in my mind, I think people are talking about me or something. I got this thought that, or this feeling and this thing going. Well, are they talking about you? Why aren't they talking to you? Why are they talking to them and not coming to talk to you? That kind of thing.
Right,
And I have
right.
to tell myself, well, because they're busy and they probably already had something going on with that other person, and maybe you need to be socially more outgoing, and then more people would talk to you, and you kind of you do it really quickly. You do it quicker than what I'm doing it here, telling you about it. You
Mhm.
have a lot of those things, and you need to work those things out in your own mind before you go speak to those people, or you're going to seem weird.
Right. And that's what the frontal cortex is all about, right? Rationalizing your situation so your limbic system takes over. You're probably familiar with the limbic system, right?
No, I don't. I'm not very medical. I do air conditioning and heating. I really didn't study a lot about the mind and different things. I just know what I've been told, and that's
Mhm.
it. Really,
So
I
when
didn't
people
go
have
and
that,
research it or anything.
so when people go into that fight or flight, mentality, the part of the brain, the amygdala, is being activated because there's a threat. So that's just the part of the brain, and it's connected to what's called the limbic system. And you see it a lot in like drug addicts, right? People that are going through withdrawal. and I usually think that that's the sleep deprivation. And so, sleep deprivation causes paranoia, psychosis, all of these things. Have you ever experienced sleep deprivation to the point where it induces a schizophrenic, or I would say a catatonic state?
My entire life, I probably, especially in my teenage years, early 20s. Well, I was more stressed back then. That was very possible. Um,
And you said you
I,
took Adderall. Adderall can affect sleep. Is that correct?
yeah, but I didn't take Adderall long. I didn't like it. I took Adderall for about a year. I would say around 16 to 17. I didn't
Hmm.
like it at all.
Yeah. So I would kind of want to stay on this whole sleep deprivation thing because I have seen a lot of people that get sleep deprived and then they start acting crazy. And it's hard to tell whether or not they're genuinely crazy or they're just sleep deprived.
Well, they're crazy in the moment, aren't they?
Right. But can they be diagnosed with schizophrenia if they're just sleep deprived?
No, they're going to run like they're not going to diagnose you schizophrenic without running a CT scan.
Okay. So there has to be that physiological aspect.
They're going to check it for sure.
Yeah.
That was even
I
common. I was born in '79, so that was common back in the '80s. So late '80s,
I
they were
have
they
had a
were.
CT scan before and they never told me I was schizophrenic. But they may have not have checked for that. So let's get back into like drug addicts. So we have some people around here that are fond of meth, and they definitely have their moments where it's hard to understand what they're trying to say. But sometimes when they're full on their meth, they seem to be normal. Would somebody like that, if they were to get sober, maybe this isn't the best question for you, but if they were to get sober and continue acting delusional, would that be one of those self-medicating schizophrenics or just somebody who's addicted to drugs? I know maybe this can. Do you think that drugs can actually make somebody schizophrenic
I
permanently
think you can damage your brain. I think you can damage your frontal lobes, and I think you can bring on something like that.
with
Um,
substances? Have you ever
because
heard that
there has
happening before?
there's been drug induced schizophrenia because weed can cause that. There is physical. There's been cases where people have had brain damage and cause themselves to display schizophrenic behaviors, but they're not listed as true schizophrenics. Like they would be drug induced schizophrenia, or they
That's what
would
I'm
be drew.
asking. Is it
Yeah,
true schizophrenia or is it drugs? And you said that weed can induce schizophrenia. Would that be
sure.
temporary? Would that just be something where they have to quit smoking weed? Or would they carry those symptoms for the rest of their lives? Have you ever seen
I
anything like that?
I would say with weed, yes. I would say there's some hallucinogenics that also have been known to do that. Some acids and stuff that people have been on a forever trip and have been, would be labeled as medically induced schizophrenic, from abuse of drugs.
All right. You heard that, kids. Don't do drugs. So do
Not
you know
yeah, not nothing
Sid,
like that.
yeah. So do you know Sid Barrett from Pink Floyd? We got Russell in chat. Sid Barrett was somebody who was doing a lot of acid and then people started labeling him schizophrenic. And then he kind of lived out his life as a schizophrenic.
Yeah, he fried his brain, man.
So he just literally fried his brain.
Yeah,
Okay.
he gave himself enough brain damage that he displayed schizophrenic behavior. He wasn't schizophrenic. He just displayed schizophrenic behavior.
Mhm. But then if he had, I mean, the question is, if he had stopped drug use completely, would he return to a normal state? Probably
Probably
not.
not.
Right
Not if
for
he
good.
damaged. I'll give you example, Jeremy. Okay, person with cerebral palsy has those arms that are pulled in and
Right,
damaged
right,
limbs and stuff, right?
right,
Well, that's because they had something wrong with their brain. It's usually from brain damage at birth, lack of oxygen or anything like that. Now, if I
right.
ran up and kicked you in the forehead and damaged your brain, you would now have cerebral palsy. But that's not the exact same thing. That was like you weren't originally born with cerebral palsy.
It's not
You were
genetic. It's more yeah,
induced,
induced. Exactly.
but it would give you the same effects.
Right. So the behaviors manifest kind of in this similar way, right?
Yeah, if you
Very
damage your brain in the frontal lobe area, where so being schizophrenic, you have these weird ass conversations with people, especially in real life. I don't ever tell anybody in real life I'm schizophrenic because they start
it
having
just
weird conversations with me, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
really can't stand it. One
No,
of
no, give us
them,
an example. Like what kind of What kind of conversations do they have? Is it like the conversation we're having right now, where I'm just kind of
Some
grasping at an
some people
understanding
will
into it?
ask questions. Some people won't do anything. They'll just look at you odd, like, But there will be some people that are like, do you know that you have, and I heard this a lot, and I don't understand it, but I've heard this a lot, that there is a whole group of people that believe schizophrenic people are more evolved. Like they have a more evolved brain because their brain's different, fundamentally shaped different
Is
in
that just kind of
areas.
a, is that a delusion itself? Kind of a delusion to, is that like one of those delusions of grandeur
Well,
that's
they
common in
think
bipolar disorder?
they think schizophrenic people can talk and see in different dimensions. That's why they
Hmm.
say that. I don't think so personally.
It'd be hard to argue that one way or the other, because maybe
Yeah.
getting brain damage does unlock your brain to certain realms of spirituality that the rest of us are just too distracted to pay
Well,
attention to.
would you consider my brain to be damaged, or would you consider it to be formed differently?
That's a good question too. Maybe the brain does some type of like, not regeneration, but maybe in the response to the damage, it does some repairs that over, I don't know, like scar
What
tissue
What if
that
it's
it
not even that? What if it's just a different? Like people have different shaped faces, right? What if I just have a different shaped brain? That is, there's no trauma that's happened because my brain doesn't have any trauma. It doesn't have any scar tissue. It doesn't have any. I didn't have any trauma up there at all. It was
right. You said
just,
you were born with just a different brain.
yeah,
Your
just
frontal lobes were different.
there's a little bit of a larger gap between the right and left uh, hemisphere or frontal lobe area or something like that. It's the
So is it
gap. It's the
literally like
gap.
that? So it's just harder to make the connection between the two. Is it that simple, or
I don't know. I don't. I've never. It's never really been explained to me what. I don't. Maybe they don't even know what that gap causes.
hmm, interesting?
And
So
could be getting that wrong. Because it's been so many years ago, but it's something like that.
so let's bring in like, is it advantageous in nature, like, so for survival, say if we didn't have society to kind of diagnose schizophrenia and help them out, help them survive, but we were just back in like nomad days, do you think schizophrenics would survive, or do you think they'd be taken out right away? Do you think they wouldn't have a chance at survival?
Well, it just
They're,
depends, right?
yeah.
If they're high functioning like me, they probably could manage, right? The ones that are worse off would probably be locked up. Remember they had the old nut houses? They lock them up.
Well, I'm thinking like back when, yeah, hunter gatherers, nomadic
Oh,
tribes.
they would have died.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been able to fend for themselves. They would have been seen as possessed and kicked out of the tribe, and then they would have just died on their own from starvation.
But then maybe some tribes would have held them as spiritually superior,
Maybe they would have been the shaman, right?
right?
If they were
Do you
smart
think
enough, they could capitalize on it.
if they were high functioning, like you said,
Well, people that think they could talk to dead spirits and shit like that. Well, maybe they're just schizophrenic, like
right?
schizoaffective. Like schizoaffective people have a lot of visuals.
Hmm.
And so I don't, if I'm having a visual, I need to going to see my psychologist and get on some medicine. I hadn't had visuals in years and years, but I do have auditory, like
Do you still experience auditory hallucinations?
every day.
Really?
Mhm.
And you said they're mainly angels or demons. Is that correct?
No, 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 no. So
Or how's that? What is it?
what most of mine are, is, let's say you're driving down the road and you see a billboard, and that billboard has some advertisement on it.
Hmm.
Now, you would think about that advertisement and then you'd be done. But I may think about that advertisement and what I could do with that product, and I would live out a whole scenario, and I would have it would be like what they call active daydreaming about it. And you ever seen those schizophrenics that are talking to themselves as they go down the road?
Oh yeah, of course.
They have to work through that process. I have to finish that process of talking through that scenario, or it won't leave my brain. It will haunt me. And
Interesting.
so if I'm on a job and I get locked in on something like that, I will just have to like keep it internally. Well, some of those people can, and that's why you see them talking to themselves down the road because they're trying to work through that scenario so they can get free of it.
And you consider that an auditory hallucination?
Yeah, because I don't have visual.
Right, but I mean, are you actually hearing something that's not there, or are you just obsessing over something
It's
you saw and it's
it's
taking
it's a
over
little bit of
your
both, right?
imagination?
Like your mind's so active that you can hear yourself talking to yourself. You remember how people say, "Well, they're my brain telling me to do things." Well, that's because you ever thought of something to do,
Yeah, but I'm trying to
but
differentiate
but it's a
between
lot more
thinking and
compelling to them.
actually hearing. So I mean, like, are they just thinking really loudly, or are they actually hearing something that's not there?
It's the same thing to them because they can't differentiate.
Huh.
It's all in their mind. They're not actually physically hearing anything with their ears because there's
Right. Well,
nothing
like
there.
with visual hallucinations, I mean, it's obviously in their mind, but they're seeing something. So there's
They're
some
not
type of
seeing anything.
stimuli. So they're not
No,
seeing anything. Okay. So the
no, it's in their
hallucination's
mind.
not literally like you don't see somebody walking past you who isn't there. That's not what
They
it's
may
like.
think they may think that because their daydreaming is imprinting on their real world. You ever woke up and like you're still kind of seeing, like you're dreaming, but you're in real life. You kind of have to come to. Just think about that nonstop happening to you.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I understand that it was just my dream, and I might be thinking about my dream a little bit, but it's not like I'm seeing stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of people that are schizoaffective can't understand that that's not real, and they just don't say anything.
Hmm.
Like, okay, let's take this for example. Shamrock. Um, what's her name? Crow. Her last name's Crow. Siobhan Crow. Siobhan Crow's schizoaffective, and she's very open about it. She went by her first and last name on her channel, so I'm not doxing anybody. This is what her channel name was. She has active visuals, um, and
Which
so it's harder for
means,
me to explain to. But you should interview her. She'll come on your channel.
oh, well, I mean, we're just going to stick to this one schizophrenic segment. You can see the title of the stream kind of fits this perfectly. And we were meaning to talk to D Dog, who people do believe is some type of schizophrenic. Um, Maybe we could get D Dog up here and talk to you. That would be fascinating. D Dog, if you're listening, click the link. So, have you done mushrooms, acid? Have you done any psychedelics?
So the only thing I've ever done is alcohol, weed, mushrooms like psilocybin, and I've also
Yeah.
had anonema muscaria too, and DMT. I like DMT a lot. I like it too much.
Okay.
It's
So you
DMT
said
is
you've
really
done
nice.
shrooms. Did you take a
Yeah.
full dose? Did you have hallucinations while you were on shrooms? What was your experience?
So the majority of the time on shrooms, I haven't had it. I hadn't had such a high dose that I have all these hallucinations. I've never had that, but I've had high enough doses where I had like everything looks real sharp. I have that feeling like God. It had such a good feeling on shrooms. It's like you're so happy. Like if you're depressed, take some shrooms. Shrooms will make you fucking happy. And I've had some color flashes, and that's about it.
Hmm. Okay. And you wouldn't compare that to some of the schizophrenic episodes you've had. You would say it's entirely different, or
Yeah, yeah. I would say it's much
okay.
different. So, for example, when you're in a schizophrenic episode, let's say you're manic, right? I've only been catatonic a couple times, but God, I could. When you're manic, it's exhausting. Like when you come out of it and you finally snap out of it, mine usually lasts 2 to 4 hours. When you snap out of it, you're exhausted because your brain's been running 90 to nothing. I can remember the last time I was catatonic where I was just out of it for like 6 hours. And I was calling people on my phone and shit. And I just like I was in bad shape. Um I
Yeah.
remember
So
sleeping for 2 days.
I
I
took
felt like I slept for two
shrooms.
days.
I took a full eighth of shrooms once, and I got the whole like things start kind of moving together and doing that whole thing. You've never had that without substances. You've never experienced anything like that where your visuals are actually
No, I've never had
impeding
anything
that.
like that.
Okay. So I kind of don't really understand. I'm trying to understand what hallucinations really are. Because my
Well, I think
understanding
what you
is
have
that
to
you're
understand,
literally seeing
Jeremy,
something that's not there. But you're
is
saying
that
it's in your
two
head and you
different
just
people with
believe.
schizophrenia will experience different things.
Yeah.
Like my experiences with it aren't the same as somebody else's, just like with people with autism.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to get an idea of what hallucinations really are because my low IQ understanding is that you're literally seeing stuff that's not there, or you're hearing things that aren't really. Like you're hearing people talking to you that aren't really talking to you.
You're perceiving things that aren't there.
Okay. I'll have to think about that one. Let's see here. I'm gonna catch up on chat. All right. So let's get back to the other drugs. So you said so you smoke weed. Does that make
Yep.
your paranoia any worse, or you said it helps calm down your brain? But for a lot of people, it makes them paranoid. Does that make you paranoid, or
I mean, normal level, not nothing outside of the normal range. You know.
what about alcohol? Alcohol directly inhibits REM, and if you don't get REM, I mean, you're pretty much going to start daydreaming, right? If you get that sleep deprivation accumulation.
So I've gone. So right now, I don't really drink alcohol. I think in the last month and a half, I might have had a 6 pack spanned over the whole time. You know,
All right, but
but
I'm sure you've gotten drunk before, right? I mean, you've
there's been years that I've had quite a bit. So I go in and out on alcohol, like
okay.
most
How does it
people.
affect your symptoms, if at
It
all?
I think it mainly just makes me tired. It makes my muscle. I get a lot of muscle fatigue on it. Um, Alcohol is just terrible. I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to alcohol. I just,
Yeah, me
I did,
neither.
I just don't like it. It's just terrible. It really is.
But you wouldn't say that it amplified any of your schizophrenic symptoms?
I think it made me, because I drank too much all the time. It made me not be able to perceive what was going on due to being drunk.
Hmm.
Not being due to, you know how drunks are.
Yeah. Well, there's
So
the whole alcohol-induced schizophrenia, right? But I always
I
thought
don't
that was
know.
just sleep deprivation. When people go through alcohol withdrawal and they get paranoid and kind of psychotic.
And I've never been one who could drink a ton. Like when I say like I drank a bunch, that'd be like I drink a 6 pack in the evenings. Well, that's too much. Drinking a 6 pack in the evenings is too much, you
It
know?
is, yeah, I wouldn't say that's out of control. I think there are a lot of people that fall into that category.
But a six
Um,
pack for me gets me extremely fucking hammered drunk.
hmm,
So I'm
okay,
not a big drinker, never have been.
okay. Let's talk about religion. Are you religious?
I'm a Christian. I am.
Do you go to church?
I don't like organized religion. I don't think it teaches on the Bible, actually, a lot of it.
Okay. Do you think that might be a delusion?
Could be. Maybe that's my longstanding delusion. Or when I go to church and they ask for tithing and there's no more Levites and we're no longer tied to tithe, I'm thinking, why are they asking for that? They should ask for donations. But yet they continue to ask for a tithe, which they shouldn't because they have no authority to. Because the only person that was supposed to tithe was the Jews because they took the land from the Levites when they went back to the promised land and they were supposed to pay them basically a social benefit because they couldn't work. Those people don't exist anymore. So therefore, I'm not required to tithe. Now, do I give money to the church? Sure. But they shouldn't do it as a tithe because that's a misrepresentation of the story. And they're twisting it to get more donations. And I don't like that shit.
Interesting. So, yeah, we'll stay on the topic of religion. Would you say that religious leaders or people that are quote unquote closer to God, would you say that they might be schizophrenic, or is that just a play to get people to come to their church and pay them money?
I think they're narcissistic. People that seek out power usually display narcissism. Now, can there be some of them that's schizophrenic? Sure. Anything's possible. This is a large country in a large world,
Right. Like one thing, like the delusions of grandeur, feeling
right?
like you're closer to God or you talk to God and that you need to go out and be that guy to other people. What are
I
those
think
delusions of grandeur? Is that common in schizophrenia? I know it's common with bipolar disorder, but the delusions of grandeur, would you say that that might be a
de-
tough?
delusions of grandeur is just a manifestation of mental illness. You could be narcissistic, you could be bipolar, you could be schizophrenic, and you could have delusions of grandeur. It's a separate diagnosis almost. It's like they would say if you had delusions of grandeur, he's schizophrenic with delusions of grandeur. He's bipolar with delusions of grandeur.
Mhm. Okay. All
So it's
right.
like an
Well,
add-on.
yeah. Chat, do you have any questions for Kent about schizophrenia? They're talking about delirium tremors, right? That's what they're called. tremens. Do you experience those? I know
Tremors?
alcoholics do.
No, I don't have any tremors.
Is that a symptom of schizophrenia, or is that like alcohol withdrawal? You see a lot of that. Is
Well,
that not?
I would say dependency we know causes tremors, and Parkinson's causes tremors. There's actually that's not the proper term. It's dyskinesia. The proper term for tremors is dyskinesia, um, and I don't know if that could. I don't know if that's something that happens with schizophrenia. I just don't know.
Hmm, okay. So yeah, chat. Do you guys have any questions about schizophrenia? We have Kent Jones here. He is diagnosed schizophrenia. He was diagnosed when he was 9 years old. I know a lot of people are saying that D Dog might be schizophrenic. D Dog's behavior. If you see any parallels, you got any questions for the guy? Someone asked, would he preemptively get his kids checked for it since it's genetic? Good question. Have you had your kids checked yet?
So I only have one child that's biologically mine. I have fostered quite a few children in my time, um, and no, he's not. He's he doesn't have anything. He's just real normal. In fact, he's real calm and laid back. It's real kind of shocking.
Okay. And are you married?
Yeah, I've been married 20 years this year.
Is your wife, how does your wife kind of deal with your diagnosis and how does she
She's a
deal with it?
Well, she grew up with me. We grew up in the same neighborhood, so she's known me since I was probably 12. So
And what's kind of her take on all of it?
I think that she's um I don't think it bothered. I I don't know. I've never really asked her because she's known me so long. She knew about it from the beginning. Like, wasn't a surprise for her. It didn't. It wasn't like she was shocked. Like, she wasn't
Right.
shocked because she knew I've been that way my whole life.
Well,
You
so
know.
how does she deal with some of your symptoms? Because you still have symptoms. So how does she kind of deal with that?
She calms me down. She just tries to calm me down. Tries to console me. Then later
Okay.
tells me what she well, if do I truly still feel that way, or do I feel differently now? And then we kind of talk about it.
Okay. And so let's talk about autism. So autism is big now, and there's been a lot of autistic people that have been misdiagnosed schizophrenic. How do you
Really?
think that happens? Yeah, I read. I was pre med for like 3 years, and that is one thing that they taught us is that schizophrenics will sometimes behave like, or sorry, autistics will sometimes behave like schizophrenics. Have you ever noticed that?
Well, I know the majority of people who have autism are also retards. So could it be that they are just
Well, no.
retarded and
There's
they don't know
also
which way to classify them?
I would say no. Autism. There's the high functioning autism, which is the very high IQ people too.
Oh,
So,
it's
like you said, it's a
rare. There's a lot
spectrum.
more high. Schizophrenia is one of those
I don't know,
disorders
dude.
that's amongst
I would
smarter
say that
people. When you go
I wouldn't.
autism, you think of fucking,
I
what
don't
you think,
know, dude.
Rain Man.
I really don't think of autism as being like retarded. A lot of people
Okay.
that are like academics, a lot of academics are high functioning autism.
Well, Elon
Um,
Musk, there's one.
oh no, come on. If you went to college, all of your professors have high functioning autism, especially the science guys. Those guys that commit to science and they're like antisocial, that's autism.
Okay, so I will say Paul Wiedemeyer, who
And
was
okay,
my
it sounds like you're kind of
computer
defensive.
science teacher, he did have autism. Okay, I agree with. Okay,
Yeah,
I can kind of see what you're talking about now.
all these younger folks that are addicted to video games and spend all day online, they're very smart, but they're also autistic. So I really wouldn't say that most autistics are retards. And it sounds like you're kind of competing with autistics as a schizophrenic. But I wouldn't say that they're retards. I think that's
It,
kind of
it's interesting.
I think that might be one of your delusions.
Possible. Well, Chuckles
Anyways,
has autism. Why don't she come up here and tell us about it?
hmm, no, I don't want to trigger an episode.
Okay, that's pretty smart.
So what about me? You said that I'm probably low IQ or retarded or autistic because I'm a YouTube streamer. Do you really believe that YouTubers are low IQ?
Well, people who come out here do it every day and don't get anything for it. What's your point?
What if they
Are
just
you that
enjoy it?
lonely? Can you
What
not,
if
talk to people in your real life? I mean,
well
something has to be going on, Jeremy, for
I
you to
already
be doing
told you
this.
why I already told you I came here to start a comedy career and I wanted to build up my talents on YouTube before taking it to the stage. I was never trying to be big on YouTube. I always thought that was kind of
Yeah,
cringe.
but you ain't built no comedy out here, none.
Oh no, I'm practicing my skills. I make chat laugh. I write jokes, and when a joke lands, I write it down and I put it in my notebook for when I want to hit the stage.
If you were serious about doing it, you would have a channel where you would display your talent. You don't display your talent anywhere. If I wanted to look up Jeremy
Well, I don't think
Peterson's
that's fair.
comedy,
I don't think that's
where
fair.
would I
I
look?
come here and
Nowhere.
I make jokes. I'm all about making jokes. I make the chat laugh. Chat laughs a lot at what I say.
I guess you could cope like that. That's fine.
I don't think I'm coping.
Then what is it?
I really think
Why
I'm just
haven't you? Why
practicing a
haven't you
skill
done
set
what you were set out to do?
because
Why
I'm
haven't you met
35.
your
What
goal?
you gotta remember, like most comedians don't make it until their 40s and 50s. You don't
Okay.
see a lot of super young comedians, and I don't want to fuck it up too early and go on a stage and just bomb and then quit. I got other jobs. I make money doing other things. That's a long game for me. That's a very long game because most people don't make it as comedians.
I will
So
say, at least, I don't think you're low IQ because you can take care of yourself. You don't live with your mom or dad. And so, most people who are lower IQ can't earn money. That's one of the distinguishing factors of somebody with low IQ is they aren't able to take care of themselves. They have to live with other people. People who have a decent IQ know or learn or can come up with ways on how to make money.
yeah, I don't think that's all. You got like high functioning autistics that are high IQ and live with their parents all their lives. So that's
Yeah,
another thing where it's like a social anxiety kind of deal.
yeah,
I think
savants.
you're
But
focusing too much
savants
on
are retards.
IQ.
They're eventually they are. I mean, if you're not able to take care of yourself and earn your way, I mean, in some ways you're deficient.
Yeah, but it may not be IQ. Like anxiety has a big part of that. And nowadays you have a society that's very overstimulating. And sure, maybe I mean like back in the day, sure. But nowadays, especially after the pandemic, a lot of people just don't have faith in society anymore. I really don't think it's low IQ. So I don't know why you're focusing on that so much. And can I ask you, what's your IQ? You said you were tested when you were diagnosed.
115.
115. All right, so that's above average. But you're still schizophrenic, right?
Yeah, but it's not smart enough. It's not smart enough to get a master's. It's not smart enough to be an attorney or accountant. 115 basically makes you a good tradesman or blue collar worker. You really can't be.
Yeah, but
um
100 is average. So you're saying most people are low IQ and retarded.
well, that's right. Most people with a 100 struggle. They do. They don't have the ability to be a high income earner, to be a business owner, to invent anything. Okay, my brother's an attorney, right? He's a 135. His IQ is 135. Super smart guy. Super smart guy. Makes huge amount of money, right? So it does correlate in some ways. And sometimes people don't live up to their potential. But I will say for a 115, I own my own. I'm financially solvent. Like I own my own properties. I have my own business. I have invented over 900 different kits that I sell online. I have agreements with Amazon and different companies like that that I'm tied in with. I could lose the air conditioning side and I could still profitably survive with no problems just off of my other circuit board mechanic business I own.
Yeah, see,
So
Junk brings up a good point. There are a lot of geniuses out there that just don't care for money.
it's not that they don't care for money, they don't have ambition.
Okay, so you're saying that ambition is doesn't correlate with IQ because ambition is
Right.
what drives you to take care of yourself. And you're saying that people that are low IQ can't take care of themselves, but there are plenty of people that have high IQs that have no ambition. And you're saying that's not the same thing?
Well, they have something else wrong, right? So you have a low IQ person who can't earn money because they're retarded. Then you have a high IQ person that
Well,
has
let's
other
not say
issues. Like take for example,
retarded means you're like 68, 70. All right. People don't fall into that. Average IQ is not retarded. So quit using that word.
Rayman had 150 IQ, right? But couldn't take care of himself.
Yeah. So, but he wasn't retarded.
And he didn't have low ambition. But he was retarded. He was functionally retarded. There are smart people that are functionally retarded because they have other things going on.
But I don't think that makes him retarded.
Yeah.
I mean, retarded is a pretty specific definition in medicine.
Then
You're generalizing that
what
term
would
for
you call
people who are.
mental deficiency causing you not to be able to manage
I
yourself?
wouldn't call it retardation necessarily. Retardation means you don't like. You
You're
can't even have a
deficient.
conversation. Not deficient. No, maybe just say deficient. Why do you got to go with the retarded part? It seems like
Are,
you're.
are you on a computer?
Am I on a computer right now? No, I'm outside my car smoking on
Okay,
my
let me
phone.
look it up. Let's get the definition of retarded.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me see here. Open another tab. All right, here's Google. I'm going to read out what the definition of retarded is.
And then ask Google, can you be high IQ and retarded? That's what I'm asking. Can you be high IQ and retarded?
So, what
Deficient, I'm
retarded
fine with the
means
word
is
deficient.
delay or hold back in terms of progress, developmentally delayed.
Okay, so
That's
now ask,
retarded.
can you be high IQ and retarded?
It's Google. It's just gonna. It's not AI. I'm not. I can't.
Well, then ask AI. Yeah, if you're at a computer, you can ask Chat
I'm not
GPT.
at a computer. I'm on a cell
Come
phone. I'm
on,
trying
man.
to do all I can do here, Jeremy.
All right. Well,
I
don't be
can't keep
retarded.
asking it until you get the answer you want. I'm sorry.
No, it's a simple question.
I thought
You're
you were
saying
pre
that
med.
somebody that's high IQ can be retarded. I just
I'm
think
gonna
that's
pull a
kind of,
Sam Hill on you. I just thought you were smarter than this, Jeremy.
yeah, no, maybe I am retarded. Who knows? See, I made you laugh. Anyways, we got King Tail in chat.
Well,
He's
awesome.
paying to ban someone. So we do this new thing where we take donations to ban people.
Tell them they can kick me off the panel for $25.
Yeah, we can do that. King TL, what do you have to say about all this? Schizophrenia. Some people have called King TL schizophrenic, and he's the one that, yeah, he's deep into conspiracies. King TL, have you ever considered yourself a targeted individual?
Mike Saha is a targeted individual. That's 100% schizophrenia in that guy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we all labeled him schizophrenia from the beginning.
Yeah, that's a clear classic, just old school schizophrenic. And
Well,
he
he
kind
also
of
no,
lives in a manic state all the time. He
yeah,
doesn't
but
get out of his manic state.
he drank a lot, right? Didn't he? He was like a heavy alcoholic for a while. That might have been substance induced.
I don't think he was heavy. I think he was like the six packer, kind of like I was. He would drink some, and he couldn't handle his alcohol either, like I could. You know, some of us just can't handle alcohol. We're not a 30-pack drinker. You know,
Yeah, yeah. I used to be. I could drink a lot back in the day, but yeah, retarded is below 65 IQ. That's what I learned. Is that it's a legit IQ deal, and that if somebody's high IQ but not functional, it's probably something that's not retardation. But to go and say that they're retarded, I think is kind of itself retarded. The state of Jeremy's mods.
right? There's so many levels of the spectrum. You know, in every diagnosis.
Yeah. Anyways, that retarded thing, I'm gonna look more into that and see if, yeah, I
Well,
think you might just be using retarded
I'm
as like yeah, a bit of a
I'm
joke.
happy for people to come on the panel and ask me questions. I don't care. Or if you just want to bring other people on the panel just to talk, I don't care either. You know, it doesn't bother
Actually,
me.
yeah,
I'm
no,
not.
let's do that. Let's do
I don't get my
open
feelings hurt on
panel.
anything.
Ask a schizophrenic. Now's your chance to ask a schizophrenic because
Got your opportunity, people.
yeah, we all misunderstand schizophrenia. We all think that it's some like Hollywood deal where people are like. For me, I thought they were actually seeing stuff that's not there or hearing stuff, and but really, it's just you're saying it's the way they perceive the information and not
Right.
actually the stimuli hitting their cornea or whatever their eardrums or whatever sensory input mechanism is dealing with that. So
And you
yeah,
got to
no, let's
think
open up the panel.
if you have a person with low IQ and they're trying to explain to you what their symptoms are, they may not have the vocabulary or the ability to process how to explain to you what they're feeling and seeing or hearing. You see what I'm saying?
No, that's
So you
because they're retarded, not because
well
they're schizophrenic.
well, I mean, do you consider EFD retarded?
Uh, no, autistic. I would just say he's autistic.
Well, he's low IQ. You know, he's probably sitting around the 75 range, you know.
Actually, I wouldn't say that. No, I don't think so. I've seen him sober before, and I wouldn't call him. I'd probably put him around average.
You think he's average?
I would say, yeah, no, I can have a conversation with him that's. It doesn't feel like he's retarded, honestly.
Okay, you may be right then.
But then again, he drinks a lot, so yeah, maybe when he's drunk, you could say he's retarded. But no, dude, when he sobers up, I would say he's probably around average.
Interesting.
But then again, maybe I'm retarded and just projecting.
Well, maybe he's on your level then when he's sober.
Yeah, probably. Does anybody want to come up and ask this guy a question? I know we had David Boldo, but he said he went to sleep.
Oh, did David Walsh die? I haven't seen that cat in a while.
No, he was just backstage. David Boldo, I think was his name.
Oh, that's David Walsh. I didn't know that. I thought the cat.
Oh
I hadn't
no,
seen the
no,
cat in a
no,
while. I don't know
no,
what happened
David
to his
Walsh.
channel or something.
David Walsh is still around. Yeah, no, he just got baptized in the Baptist church this last Sunday.
Well, congrats to him.
Yeah. And you were Baptist, right? Are you? Do you
Uh,
still consider yourself Baptist or just a general Christian?
no, I'm 100% Baptist.
Okay, interesting. What are your thoughts on Baptist versus other religions?
Well, I mean, so religion is what the base is. Like you got vanilla pudding, right? But when you put bananas in it, you got banana pudding. So that's what it's like. So Christian religion is vanilla, right? Baptist got a little bit of bananas in them.
Okay.
Your Pentecostal, they got all kinds. They got bananas. They got vanilla wafers. They got a whole spectrum over there with the
So you're
Pentecostals.
saying
They're quite
different ways
lively.
are just different flavors of the same idea.
Right. Same thing. Same thing. The
Yeah.
base is the same, but the flavoring around it's different.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that. I think it's more to do with like the culture or like the linguistics that form the religion, whatever more familiar with you, what fits your
So,
palate.
so
It's not necessarily
Methodist
one is more true than the other.
is Catholics who decided to go with Jesus Christ and convert to Christianity. And the Catholics were like, no, Jesus Christ, we're not going to go with him. We're going to stick with our old ways and our old rituals. And that's the difference
That's
between
interesting.
those two. So you have
Well, see,
some things that have that
I went
split,
to a
right?
Catholic mass, so I do these liturgy segments where I go to different churches and kind of get an
Yeah.
idea of what they're all about. And I recently went to a Methodist liturgy. I went to a Catholic mass, and I would say Catholics still worship Jesus. What makes you think that they were never? I mean, they have
You
Jesus like right up there, front and
They
center.
do, but they also pray to Mary and a bunch of other people. And you can't have any other gods. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, you can't. And
But I
you
think
can't ask
they
your
still
priest for
consider.
forgiveness. Your priest cannot forgive you. Only Jesus Christ can forgive you. If you ask that priest, you make him a god. And you can't do that. He's not a
Yeah,
deity.
I don't know. I don't know. See, I don't know about that because that seems like more of an opinion than like you're stating it like it's fact. But I'm sure if
No,
we
I
got
don't
a
know if it is
Catholic up
fact.
here, I know. But if we got a Catholic up here, I'm sure they would tell you different, right?
Maybe we won't know till we go up there and we meet him.
I guess so. Yeah. What about saints? Are saints gods?
Hell no, there's no other god other than the Trinity.
But saints are people that are closer to God, right? They've kind of fulfilled the faith and they're kind of
They
working through God.
they were just good stewards while they were on earth. They're nothing
Okay.
more special than me or you. Now, do they have more? Did they have more jewels on their crown because maybe they did more good works? Maybe. See, you could be a total piece of shit Christian and still get in heaven. The difference between a total piece of shit Christian and a saint who did God's work the whole time they were there is the place in heaven they're going to receive and the amount of jewels on their crown they're going to get. That is it. Both of y'all are going to
Yeah.
be in heaven,
Yeah. And in Mormonism, I was raised Mormon. They call that, the different degrees of glory that you achieve in the afterlife. The
going to hell.
ETG here. What's
Going to
that?
hell. You're not a Christian. Muslims,
Oh, Mormon. Yeah,
Mormons,
you're
all
one of
going to
those
hell.
guys.
Catholics going to hell.
Yeah. See, I don't believe in that kind of generalization, but yeah, no, I kind of get where you're coming from. Does anybody want to ask this guy questions? We got the link posted. I mean, how often do you get to ask a schizophrenic questions? We all know that you guys have questions, or maybe not. Maybe we kind of cleared everything up here. What am I missing?
Maybe I'm not interesting enough. Is that it?
Maybe you're not even schizophrenic.
Could be. I could be healed. Could you have healed me already?
I don't know. Do I have that power?
Maybe. And you don't even know it. Look how good Chuckles has been doing. She used to be a complete psycho. And now she seems a little better since she's been around you, Jeremy.
Well, we'll see about that. So you're diagnosed schizophrenic at 9 years old, but your parents believe that you were special, right?
Well, they're very
How,
religious people,
yeah,
you
yeah. How
know.
did they
They
react
still
to your
are.
diagnosis?
They thought
Did they,
that they were wrong. They thought I was gifted by God.
did they ever come to that conclusion that you were just schizophrenic and not gifted?
Yes. After the second person told him he's crazy. He's gonna need to be medicated. And they took me out of school for a year. Then when I went I would when I went back to grade school, I would see a therapist in the middle of the day that would come to school. Like the school has therapists that come by the schools that work with kids on that have like a 501(c) or whatever they call those kids nowadays. And I had one of those little action plans. And so they would talk, how's your day going? Are you feeling stressed? That kind of thing. We'd have some conversation like
Would
that.
that itself stress you out? Do you think maybe the diagnosis kept you schizophrenic?
At first, her name was Miss Todd. At first, I was very stressed about it. Of course, I was stressed about everything because it was trying to deal with that. Um, but she was so good. She was so comforting. I remember going to her for about 4 years, and I really liked her. Really did like her. So I guess it depends who you have that you're talking to.
So, entertain this. I know it's kind of a stupid, retarded question. Let's say they had never taken you to a psychiatrist and they had just chosen to believe that you were gifted and that you didn't need medication or help. How do you think that would have played out?
I think I would have ended my own life.
Okay, we're getting into the suicide. So, suicide is pretty common with schizophrenia, is it not?
Yes, I would say it is. Am I suicidal? No. Have I ever been? Yes. Yes. It's
Okay,
very, especially my teenage years.
yeah, when was the
It
last time you felt suicidal?
Teenage years. Then I
Okay.
started. Then one of the therapists had me do a journal and had me write poetry. That's when I started writing poetry, and I still carry on that poetry to this day. I really like writing poetry.
And you feel like that helps with your stress management, feeling calm and
Just writing it out helps.
do you think you're writing out your delusions in a way, or is it like getting out the schizophrenia onto something that's material that helps you,
Well, when
or
you
what
write
is
it,
it
you
that helps
read
you?
it, and when you read it, sometimes you realize that it doesn't sound right.
Hmm.
And so it does help you in that way. And in other ways, it just gets you doing something else than assessing on what you were doing. So now you're no longer assessing, you're assessing on writing.
Hmm. So you're
And so
kind
it
of
just transfers it.
distracting yourself from the
Exactly.
delusions and stuff like that. Okay, interesting.
More like excessive behavior. I don't really suffer from delusions as much as excessive behavior than delusions.
That's what it
For
sounds
example,
more like. Yeah, obsession and yeah, because that's what I'm trying
I
to like. When you talked about hallucinations, it sounded more like you were just obsessing over your dreams or you're
yeah,
obsessing over how people were treating you, and you weren't really hallucinating, maybe, but you were just obsessing.
right. And one of the things I really suffer from, and that is one of the check boxes for schizophrenia, is I I'm not antisocial. I could talk to people, I can carry on conversations, I could be around people, but I have a strong urge to be by myself.
Hmm.
Even
Is
though
that just to avoid
I go
stress or
places,
yeah?
right? So it's not antisocial. There's this weird thing schizophrenics have where they just have this compulsion to be by themselves for long periods of
Yeah,
time.
well, that's more like asocial, right? Antisocial means that you're that's more like sociopathy, where you actually, I mean, those are the guys that are killing animals when they're kids and they're preying on people. You don't have the inclination to actually prey on people, do you?
Well, no,
Because
I grew up
antisocial,
around animals, so I grew up on a farm. So I grew up very kind of caring in that way. Like I have dogs now, and I have fish, and I have a lot of animals in my life, and I can keep animals to the end of their life, and I take them to vets, and I'm very empathetic, and I can feel how other people feel, and um.
so
And the other
schizophrenic,
thing I'm very blessed with is
yeah.
that I'm able to understand how other people perceive me. Like I can understand that they think I'm crazy at that moment, and maybe I need that introspection is the biggest gift I have to helping me because people who can't understand how people view them in that moment, a lot of times can't correct their behavior fast enough.
Well, and we need to differentiate, like, yeah, antisocial and asocial. Just because you want to be isolated, that doesn't make you antisocial. Antisocial
Right.
is it's people that prey on other people and they're antisocial. They're not just want to be left alone. They want to actually go out and be anti and actually fuck people up. That's more like narcissism and yeah, antisocial personality disorder. Those are people that commit crimes, kill people, do violent shit. It's not necessarily being left
It's
alone.
yeah, it's just different. Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing to explain. But if you look up schizophrenia, some of the symptoms, that is one of the big symptoms.
Yeah, so let's talk about. So a lot of people consider schizophrenics violent people, but that's actually a misconception, right?
I would
And
say
schizophrenics are only violent when they're going through an episode and they feel like they're being attacked and they need to defend themselves. Is that correct?
so you get put in fight and flight mode. I'll give you an example. I usually don't like to always talk about, but this got caught on a live stream. One of the reasons why I don't live stream as much anymore. I got almost kicked off an airplane because they gave away my seat, and when they gave away my seat, it pissed me off so bad and it stressed me out so bad. Um, because I paid extra to have me and my wife sit beside each other, and they moved us and separated us. It freaked me out so bad I went manic instantly, and I held that airplane up for an hour. And
What were you doing? Like, what
we
were you
missed
doing? What were you
people
saying?
missed
What
their connecting flights and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, what were you doing? Like, so you say you were being manic. Were you just kind of shouting at people? Were you
I was
shouting at like
hold on a
the
second.
pilots, or what exactly were you
Oh,
doing?
you getting the stuff out of there? So I refused to sit down, and I refused to sit down, and I said those are my seats. I paid extra for it. Here's my receipt. This shows this was my seat. You can't give it away. I want to talk to a supervisor, and I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't. You couldn't reason with me. I don't care
But you,
what you unless you're
but
going
you
to give me
weren't
that
getting
fucking seat.
violent, right? You weren't getting violent. You weren't threatening violence in any way. You were just
No, no.
more
That's why I didn't get kicked
emotional.
off. I'm nonviolent. I'm
So that's what
nonviolent.
I want to talk about. So a lot of people a lot of people,
Yeah.
and this is, I think, a misconception. A lot of people think that schizophrenics are violent people, and they confuse it with antisocial behavior. Is there any
Right.
crossover
So
with
I'm on.
antisocial behavior and schizophrenia, or are those usually two separate things?
I think it's. I think like it's an add-on. Kind of how we talked about the other thing being add-on.
Yeah, the delusions
So
of
that
grandeur.
person, right, that person suffers from that and that. It's like an
And I
additional
think,
thing.
isn't that what we consider cluster B, or is cluster B mainly antisocial? Are you familiar with cluster B personalities?
Not very medical.
Okay. Um,
So
so yeah, so you would agree that they're not typically violent people, right? They're
I'm
more
not.
emotional.
I
I'm saying
there's.
in general, schizophrenics are more emotional, but they're not necessarily violent, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say that because they get like how my story, how I got put in fight and flight mode so quickly. I don't have as much fight. I have more flight, right?
Right.
So the reason why I didn't get kicked off the airplane because I wasn't violent. I was being unreasonable with accommodations they were offering me, and I wasn't accepting it.
Because you
And I was
felt
making
like,
good
yeah.
points. So
So, have you ever come to the point where you did fight back or you became violent?
I've never been arrested.
But have you ever been? I mean, that's not answering the
I
question
would say no
necessarily.
because I've never been in even a street fight. I've never been in a fight outside. Now I
Okay.
did, I did, I did box, and so like from like 13 to like 31, I boxed, and
Well, that can add to the brain damage, right?
I did some
Did
mixed
that?
martial arts. Well, that's
Yeah.
why my nose looks like that. Have you ever seen my nose? It's been broke a few times.
I have not. No, I don't remember your nose. But would
So,
you say
yeah,
that
I
you
got a
may have
crooked
gotten a
nose right now.
little? Yeah, yeah. So, do you have any brain damage from that? I mean, people that box that long, would you say that boxing may have made the symptoms worse, or
I think that they fought a bunch, but I didn't. I didn't. Just because I boxed doesn't mean I was in active tournaments every year. I probably only been in six. I think six actual tournament fights,
okay?
and those were more to do with belts with mixed martial art, like kickboxing. But that was in the '90s, and so I really didn't. I didn't like compete and do the circuit or anything like that.
All right. And you said you've never been arrested.
No, never been arrested.
Okay,
I couldn't
interesting.
do what I do. I work for Meta. I'm out there doing the air conditioning on the data center for Meta in Louisiana. So I
Yeah,
could
so you
hold a
sound like you
job like
got your
that.
shit. Yeah, you got your shit together,
Yeah.
and you've learned over time. And you got your diagnosis very early on, so you probably had all the tools necessary to kind of cope. and when you didn't, you could go to those resources and.
Dad had a good job, and he had good medical benefits, so they didn't have to really pay much for me to go get therapy or help.
Hmm. And you said so your dad was a deacon in the Baptist church,
Right.
and your
He's an
mom.
engineer. He's an electronics engineer for the telecommunication. He worked for CenturyLink, or what they call now Loomis, for 44 years.
Did he have any mental illness or autism or anything like that? Would you say?
I don't know, man. He he interacts funny. Great guy, good guy, but worked real hard a lot, and he was really focused in on that. So maybe he is a little high functioning autistic. It's hard to say because he interacts with people funny, not in a weird way or anything like that. He's never been arrested either in his real straight laced
Yeah, but
life.
maybe he doesn't really pick up on social cues or he's a
Yes,
little
that's
awkward,
right.
right? Yeah, so he's
Right.
high functioning autistic.
So
But you wouldn't
back
say he's
then they
retarded.
didn't diagnose him. They just kind of considered that's how you were, you know.
Yeah, yeah, you were a little odd or yeah, you were an
Yeah.
oddball or something like that, right?
But he has to be pretty good because he wouldn't have got an engineering degree, you know.
Right, yeah. And a lot of people that go into engineering, I would say, are high functioning autistic. Um,
You can't be stupid. That's what I was getting at. You can't be stupid
yeah,
and
yeah.
get that accomplishment.
That's why I was just saying you probably don't want to consider autistics retarded
Well, not
because
all of them, just majority. There's exceptions. You know, there's Elon Musk and my father. So
I think you just more notice the retarded ones because the ones that aren't retarded and high functioning, you probably don't spot them right away, right? They'll probably go under the radar. So, anyways, I'm just defending my high functioning autistics out there. I got your back, guys. Don't worry, you're not retarded. You're just autistic. So, diagnosed at 9 years old, how did it affect your relationship with your siblings?
I mean, I don't know. Same way my whole life. You know, I don't.
Well, I guess I'll ask how many siblings do you have?
Oh, I have an older sister and a younger brother.
Okay, so you got
They're
two
both real
siblings.
smart too. Yeah, super smart. Like
You
I come
said,
from
yeah,
a really smart family.
mhm. Do you feel like your schizophrenia made you stupid, or at least more
Well,
so
I
than
will
your
say, out of my
siblings?
family, right? And
Yeah.
I've said this tons of times because I come from a super smart family. Like my cousin Megan is a professor at Harvard, and she graduated from MIT and then Harvard with her doctorate. Ben, my other cousin, is a senior programmer for Garmin and started with them when he was 13 because he was programming his own video games back in the 80s.
That definitely sounds like
Another cousin of
autistic.
mine's an artist for Hallmark. My sister has a master's in nursing. My mom has a nursing degree. Dad has a nursing degree. I mean, other family. I'm the retard at 115. I mean, these people are like they're in the 135s. You know,
Hmm. Maybe that's why you project that retard mentality onto a lot of people that aren't retarded. Do you feel like yourself you're retarded?
I'm on YouTube, so I mean, remember how we said earlier?
Yep.
That's already been established. You know,
Yeah. So schizophrenics, are they considered psychopaths?
they can be. So can
Or they're not all
narcissistic and
considered
bipolar. Look
psychopaths?
at Poon. He's been a psychopath before, and he's bipolar. He's not schizophrenic.
Well, he's also like a meth head too, so there's that
Yeah.
kind of in the mix. So there's, it's hard to tell. It is a spectrum, and a lot of causes it seems. All right. Well, we don't have anybody coming up, and it looks like chat might have frozen on me. I don't know. People aren't really chatting anymore, but we still got a lot of people watching. A lot for. I think that 30 people is pretty good.
Yeah, man,
Um,
you're rocking it.
yeah, no, I'm doing all right lately.
Yeah, you'll have a whole
So
10,000 views for the month.
yeah, 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 I'm doing pretty good. So let's see, what else is there? What am I leaving out? Hmm. Is there anything about? Well, let's talk some more about like your episodes. So, what was your most recent episode?
Oh, no, I'm not going to touch it. Wasn't going that. I've told a couple already that fit in on a conversation, but just going through and just telling random episodes,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
that's
no,
giving
okay. Well,
fodder to the trolls.
I guess, but I mean, we're talking about schizophrenia and the symptoms and how crazy it can really get. Like, what's the craziest you've gotten?
I think the craziest I've gotten is just for 6 to 12 hours not being coherent and feeling like everything's against you. That would be the craziest I've gotten. Because
What are
I've
some of
never
the
been arrested, so I haven't gotten that crazy.
right, right? Have you ever been put in like 5150 or
No,
like no
no, because
psych
they don't
ward?
last long. It doesn't last. Some people last days, weeks, and months. Mine last hours.
Okay.
So by the time anybody would come, I'd be out of it. So when they
Okay.
5150 somebody, that means they're catatonic. When you're in that extreme episode, you're catatonic. But some people are catatonic for life. Like Tyree Sneed is catatonic for life. He is in a full episode. He thinks he's somebody else. He fucking thinks he's a millionaire. He thinks he's a fucking music mogul. That's not an act, man. I've talked to this guy on the phone. That is some real shit in his life. So he thinks people are out to get him,
How
you
do you
know.
think that
So
the internet affects schizophrenics?
I think it stresses them out. So I don't stream or do anything like that anymore. I don't want that
Especially
back and
like
forth
I've
of dealing with
definitely
people.
seen, yeah, and I've definitely seen coverage of the people who think that they're being gang stalked. Um, do you think that them having that chat there only amplifies that gang stalking delusion?
Yeah, because I mean, you're not gang stalk. Just turn it off.
Right,
You turn
right,
the internet off. I mean, that's what a sensible person would say. It's like, I'm like, okay, gang stalked. Watch this. Off. All right, bye,
right,
bitch.
right.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if somebody's like out to get you, the first thing you
Yeah.
do is you don't give him your location and your status and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the logical thing to do.
I don't
Um,
think they're catatonic. What I think they are, this is what I think they are. I think they're assessing, and that's their trigger and what they assess on. Kind of like I assess on certain things, they assess on certain things, right? Um, and they're not taught the skills to recognize and how to deal with it. They didn't, maybe their parents didn't have the money or the insurance, maybe they didn't get the resources, and so they were never taught that that's not okay. That's not, you shouldn't do that. That's not right. And what you should do is recognize that and know that's, you're being symptomatic, and that's somebody I think just needs education.
okay. They just need their diagnosis or something.
Well, maybe they got diagnosis, but just because you're on Medicaid doesn't mean you're seeing a therapist. Like, you'll get a diagnosis and you'll get some meds, right? But you're not gonna get that therapy to know how to deal with it. That takes money.
Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't really have many more questions for you. If chat has any more questions, feel free to ask him. But I got a pretty good idea of what, especially with the hallucination thing. I'm going to do some research into that one because it really sounds like you're just more obsessive. Because
And that
from my
may be
understanding,
me, you
yeah,
know.
exactly. But with the hallucinations, I thought that was a little more like you really see something or you really hear some shit. But you're saying it's more you just obsess over like a dream or something that may have triggered you.
That, and then your reality is a little shaky. So, or is this real or is it not? Or, is this really happening? Or those, am I assessing on it? Or are those people really, acting in that way? Starts
Chuckles
feeling
wants to
real.
ask you, why do you post tranny dick pics in her server?
That was not it. I was showing her what transgender surgery does. It's terrible. I always show and I educate people. But the problem I have with Chuckles is Chuckles not very open minded, and women have usually a lower IQ than most men. So maybe I was showing her something she couldn't process, and she banned me. And ever since then, I've been mean to her.
Do you think it might be delusional to think that a woman would be okay with you posting tranny dick pics in her server, even if it's
I
just for
don't care if she
medical?
was okay with it. That's not the delusion. The delusion is I'm trying to educate that woman.
Hmm.
That's the delusion.
Do you think that trying to educate people is a delusion?
Well, I
To
think it's
assume that
funny.
you're
I
that they
think it's
lack.
funny because they
Okay,
always
so you,
react really poorly.
okay, so you're trolling. So you're trolling.
I mean, yeah,
Okay, all right.
that shit was hilarious.
So we got a comedian up here. All right, somebody else wants to ask if you think it's schizo behavior to send another man pictures of your butthole and penis.
I think that, I mean, that's some weird shit, right?
It's weird behavior. Is it
I don't know.
schizophrenic or is it just retarded?
Well, okay? Do you know histrionic? They're hypersexual. Maybe it's histrionic.
And what is
And
histrionic again?
bipolar,
You said something
bipolar is
about
very
like
oversexual too.
pathological liars, or what exactly is histrionic? I've heard it before, and I think it.
So
Yeah.
histrionic, when their keynotes is delusion of grandeur and godlike behavior, and then they're basically overly emotional. They're cartoonish with their motions and actions. And a lot of women display histrionics. They fly off the handle at every little thing, you know.
Okay. I'll do some more research into that as well. All right. Well, Chuckles is sick of you, and she does have a managing mod. Anything you want to say before we end this? Anything you want to leave us with? Any thoughts?
Oh,
Delusions?
me? Nah,
Yeah.
man, I'm just gonna smoke some weed and go to bed. Good night, y'all.
All right. Take it easy, man. Thanks for coming up. All right. There you have it. A real diagnosed schizophrenic. We talked to him for almost 2 hours. Um, Hopefully you guys don't feel like you might be schizophrenic after this. I know some of you guys are probably thinking you need to go get your diagnosis. It's probably just the weed or the booze. Don't obsess over it. You're fine. Probably. Simp Jeremy letting women dictate his content. Nah, I'm just using Chuckles as a scapegoat. I was getting kind of bored of the conversation myself. But it was good conversation. Then again, it lasted about an hour and 50, and we're hitting the 2 hour mark. So I think I think we got to the bottom of that. And I think it was interesting. We held 30 people the entire time. So wasn't too pleased about him calling me retarded for being a YouTuber, but I get it. And I think it was just a joke. So I'm going to take it as a joke. I might be retarded. I should probably get checked out. Even though I was on a computer programming scholarship for 2 years. I don't think you can be retarded and get onto a scholarship. Just saying. Fuck, I'm retarded. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the content. King TL, D-Dog, you want to come up to end it? Love to talk to either of you two right now. Your thoughts on that? Jeremy is retarded? Well, the schizophrenic said I might be retarded for being a YouTuber. That's not over quite yet unless I want to get some people up here to talk. I do want to get D-Dog up, but I don't think he's going to be, I really don't think that guy's going to show, especially after having that schizophrenic guy on. He probably feels like he's schizophrenic now, so he's probably obsessing pretty hard. We know D-Dog. He lives with his parents. He never moved out. He's never had a real job. He's very emotional. He flies off the handle all the time. Kind of sounds like what that guy was just talking about, but what do I know? I'm not a doctor. Chuckles, you want to come up? I'll bring you up for the final 8 minutes of the show. Let's hear your thoughts on the guy and what just happened and who you think might be schizophrenic. D-Dog is at Walmart getting a refund for his book bag. Ah, is he not going to New Haven? Oh, well. I look Arab. Interesting. Is that you, Aya? Do I really look Arab? I don't think I look Arab. I have been told that before. Can't click the link in vertical mode? Yeah, apparently people are having issues with that. Yes, I do. Oh, that's not a good look. I need to get a haircut. The beard and the nose. Really? I got an Arab nose? Hmm. Now I'm going to obsess over that tonight. I look black? All right, that's better. I don't mind looking black. I think you're just hallucinating. You may just be hallucinating because Arabs are the main enemy, and you may be projecting your own paranoid delusion, obsession over Arabs onto me. Not cool. Why do you have sunnies on? Because my ring light is super bright. And I just mowed the lawn, so my eyes are kind of allergenated. Is that a word? Allergenated? You guys know what I mean. Get cornrows. Well, Chuckles is learning how to do men's hair right now in beauty school. Maybe we can make that happen. I still don't know what to think about all this schizophrenia thing. I don't know. I'm almost more confused after talking to Kent than I am beforehand. I really thought hallucinations meant you see something or you hear something. Not that you kind of obsess over something that triggers you. Huh. How much of what he said was delusional and real? Grass does not grow in winter. I was mowing leaves too. So the one way to get rid of the leaves around here without blowing them all into your neighbor's yard and having your neighbor come at you with a knife is to run over them with a leaf or with the lawnmower. So that's what I did today. So I got a bunch of like leaf particles all up in my nasal cavity, my eyes, all that stuff. So, anyways, that's what I'm dealing with. Cornrows are for blacks. Yeah. Well, I could do a wigger arc. It would be funny, right? King Tail, you want to come up? I know you're still watching, dude. There's no way you're not one of the 30 that are lurking right now. And I got you blocked on my phone, so if you're trying to text me, I'm not receiving them. I'm really not looking to see any more scat porn. That was gross. Even if it is Ava, that was gross. I'd like to bring up D-Dog, but, he's got his free agency, and hitting the link is a choice. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. So when people get humiliated on my panel and then blame me afterwards, it's not my fault. It's their fault. Take accountability. Yeah, nobody's coming up, so let's just go ahead and end it. Tomorrow, we got 70-degree weather. I'm going to go skateboarding again. I'm going to get some sun, get a good workout in. Hopefully the materials for the solarium come in and we can get that roof up. Tomorrow would be a perfect day for some roofing. Other than that, we are building towards the southern tour, which is going to consist of Memphis, New Orleans, and then heading east through Mississippi, Alabama to Georgia, potentially hanging out with EFD. Or I think John Fredericks down in Florida. I'd be down to hang out with him. And then we might go up the East Coast and hang out with D-Dog. So all of that in the near future. And yeah, I guess other than that, we'll keep doing our morning blues streams, playing guitar, and the late night panels. So stick around. And yeah, you guys take it easy. Cheers.